Greetings and salutations one and all. Welcome to the night shift. It's a brand new week right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. The night we do a thing we call community and finance. I was thinking earlier, it's been a while since I touched on some finance. Been doing a lot of community. So maybe we need to do some finance touching in the coming weeks, yeah? I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, across the pond, One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. I want to say big ups to those locked in on WGLRO, the People Station, home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking you from the sheets to the streets, touching Detroit to Denmark and every point in between. Big ups to you. Those on PEMG TV, I want to say welcome. And of course, if you're right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew on kevinstew.com, glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word. I wouldn't even try.
I can tell that you love me.
Kicking us off with a little Enzo.
Way you're looking at me. Girl, the feeling.
The track is called Come Over.
Cause I love you the same way. And I love you so much. I don't care what people say. It's complicated. Cause you got your man, girl. I just know that I want you. Same way you want me. Baby girl, come over. Wanna be your lover. Got some things to show you. Got some things to show you, but I give you pleasure, searching for your treasure. I could be you, everything you want. I could be you, I could be you, I could be you. Tonight I will forgive you of everything you've done, yeah. To show you, but I give you pleasure, searching for your treasure. I could be you, everything you want. I could be you, I could be you, I could be you. I know how to treat you right. Just tell me yes, tell me yes. I'll be all you want. Girl, just come on over, spend the night. It'll be the best, be the best. All you gotta do, baby, just come over. Let me be your lover. I can give you pleasure. I can give you pleasure. I will be your savior. I can be your preacher. I'll forgive your sins. I'll forgive your everything. Baby girl, come over. Wanna be your lover. Got some things to show you. Got some things to show you. But I give you pleasure, searching for your treasure. I could be you, everything you want. I could be you, I could be you.
I can be anything you want if you come over.
Can be your preacher.
Hey, that your savior, your preacher.
Forgive your everything.
I'll forgive your everything.
Over.
Just if you come over in these times of social distancing and such.
Searching for your
I don't know how you're gonna do it, Enzo. I don't know. I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show. Pulse Media takes care of all your streaming and recording solutions. When being in the moment is priceless, you want to give them a link. You know, call them up at 754-999-6020, or you can reach out to them on pulseemg.com. Everything that you see right here on kevinstew.com, they can do. They can host your website. They can create your website. They can provide streaming services, just like you're seeing right here with watching me live. They can do that for you. So it's just a one event. You can talk to them. If it is something you do all the time, you can talk to them. Pulse E-Media Group, 754-999-6020. Thanks to Althea SU. Althea is a licensed massage therapist, and she has her business called Healing Heavenly Hands. She comes to you, brings her table, brings her oils, you name it. She takes care of you right there in your personal space. Give her a call, 954-655-9000.
I know how to treat you right.
Or email her at theolate@att.net. You know, it's coming down to that time when they're going to lift this social distancing ban. You know?
Girl, just come on over, spend the night.
It may not be what it used to be, but you'll be able to get a massage. So I call her up and say, hey, Thea, can you come over?
Pleasure. I can give you pleasure. I would be
Big ups to Reggae Global Entertainment. Thank you.
your preacher.
They sponsor our third segment.
Since
They can act as your booking agent,
baby girl,
take care of your publishing, your copyrights, your trademarks, some of your legal contracts,
got some things,
and so much more.
got some things to show you, but I'll give you pleasure.
Give them a call, 954-998-8034.
I can be everything you want.
And thanks to GMAT Music Solutions, they normally take care of our musical therapy segment. They do sound light, stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, singers.
Got some things to show you,
Call them up, 754-307-GMAC.
but I'll give you
That's 754-307-4622.
pleasure.
You can also visit them online, gmatmusicsolutions.com. Listen, you can even do your Amazon shopping through GMAT Music Solutions. Check them out. What do you think you have to lose? I can be your everything you want. Just come on over. The sound of Enzo. And at this point, I invite my guest for the night. In fact, you know what? He has been on this show before. So that means the guest status is gone. From this point on, it is his show. I'm just facilitating it. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you none other than long-time night shift family member, Mr. Jaime Hinckson.
Yes, greetings. Big ups, Kevin Stew.
How you doing, bro?
Doing alright, just coping through these corona times, you know?
Yeah, you know, one for me, one for you. Don't drink alone.
Yes.
But it's not that Corona time that we're talking about really, but
Yeah, people
it's
drinking all the same, that's for sure.
that's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Want to big up each and everyone locked in right now. Those jumping into the stew pot, and for those who don't know, the stew pot is what other websites would call a chat room. But because we're fancy on kevinstew.com, we call it the stew pot. So come on in, jump in. The water is always fine. It's where we keep things bubbling. It's a judgment-free zone. You can share with us. You can share with your points of view on things. You can introduce yourself so that we can chat. You don't, and you can remain anonymous if you want. It's free. It's open to you. So come on in, kevinstew.com. Once you don't have to do anything else. Just go to kevinstew.com and you're in the pot. If you want to change your name, fine, do that. All right, so welcome to the Jaime Hinckson show. I can't even. I went searching, Jamie, and I couldn't find when it was that you first came on the show. And I'm thinking it has to be at least 3 years ago.
Definitely at least 3, maybe even 4. That's when I was still living in LA.
Yeah. You were behind time.
Yes, I was. I was on Pacific time, but I mean 10 p.m. Eastern time is my time too, so that works. This is
Right?
definitely the latest interview I've done, so I definitely appreciate it.
Well, I don't do interviews, so that make it even better.
Yes.
Yeah, we have dialogue. It's your show, and we just have a few eavesdroppers. That's all.
All right.
Now, to bring some people up to speed and to introduce you to some people, who is Jaime Hinckson?
Jaime Hinckson's a regular guy. Happens to play piano. Happens to tour the world. I just love doing music. I have a unique opportunity, and I feel like I was put here for a reason. And after jumping around for years and years doing different things, I ended up right back in the place where I feel like I need to be. And sharing my music with the world has been the greatest feeling for me, and it's what I really feel is my purpose.
It's always a good thing to recognize your purpose, to have a feeling that you have a purpose, but not only just to have a feeling, but to recognize, yes, I have a purpose and this is my purpose.
Yes, it took some time to reach that assessment as well. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that people find are always on a journey trying to find. So I'm
Yeah.
happy that I found mine at a time where I would say is early.
How early is early? When did you start playing?
Well, that's the thing. I started playing piano with my private teacher, Miss Mac, when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I did music in school, coming right up through middle school, high school. And after doing music from 8 years old to 17, right before going to college, I felt like I didn't have what you would call a normal life. I wanted to be outdoors. I wanted to be doing some different things. So when I went to college, I decided to put music aside, and I went just on my academics alone.
Yeah.
And decided to study something random, which was industrial and systems engineering at University of Florida. And I was there chugging along for a couple of years, didn't care to study, didn't really care about engineering, had a LLC company for consultations, got a internship with Ford Motor Company, like had a job lined up. And at the end of that entire journey, I decided, for the sake of my happiness, to book a one-way ticket to LA and start over with my music again 8 years later. So
wow,
it took me taking that break away from music to have an appreciation for it due to some weird circumstances that happened in the last year of my college stint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is quite a break, though. 8 years.
Yes, I'm paying for it right now to this day.
That's all like
Paying
student
for it.
loans.
And not just student loans, it's just what happened with me going to music for school.
Yeah.
They don't teach you anything new. I had a private teacher. School does is, okay, you pass this audition as a musician. You're great enough to be entered into our program. So now that you're in this program, in order for you to get your accreditation, we're going to test you based on what you already know. These schools didn't teach you anything. They'll say, okay, you pull a scale out of a hat. Can you play this C scale? Can you play this F minor scale? And it's just like, there's nothing new to learn. So it's basically you're testing me on stuff I already know. I'm getting A's, of course, and there was nothing to be learned there. So
Yeah.
what I missed from the collegiate time for music, had I gone to like, I had an offer to go to audition with Berklee College of Music in Boston, even
Right.
Juilliard, New York, different music schools. After doing this NAACP AXO competition,
Mm-hmm.
I decided I was going to go to school for academics. And what they didn't tell me is that I was going to be missing out on a musical network of people on the collegiate level. After you leave college, if had I gone to a music school, I'd be all my close friends and people I was in school with. I would have all these links to music all over the world. Instead, I did academics. I know a bunch of engineering students, and I'm not doing anything with my engineering from University of Florida. So
Right.
my foundation had to be reset, and I had to start all over again in LA. Really humble myself and really claw back to kind of work back my skills, and I still have a long way to go.
Yeah, that sounds like quite a ways to go for real.
Yes, but it was all necessary. I needed it to have the mindset that I have now.
When you talk about the mindset that you have now, what kind of mindset would that be?
Music is it for me. Like, music is what I will do till my last day. Not necessarily performing, not necessarily playing piano. I mean, there's so many different aspects of music production, performing. You can learn new instruments. There's always new sounds coming out. Like, there's always some new artists. There's always some young kid coming up playing music that you're watching and aspiring. Like, I mean, music is endless, and it's like the
Yeah.
universal language of the world. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this is the industry that I know I'm going to be in for the rest of my life, and I didn't know that I wanted to be here until I took that 8-year break in college to just kind of have some fun.
But no, you're really having the fun.
Yes, 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 I am. Yes, I am.
You mentioned artists that you could be watching some new artists, some upcoming artists, and some different artists. The
Oh
the
yeah,
track,
there's some young kids out there
yeah.
that I find on Instagram. There is this youth I've been watching named Baby Boy Drummer. This kid is amazing, just this drumming prodigy. There's a girl in UK that's always playing her rock drums. I believe her name is like Nandi Bombshell or something like that. There's a wicked bass player from, I think, Slovakia or one of those places. His name is Aaron Basis. And then I just discovered, like within the last month, this wicked youth out of California named Kalish, who's
Yeah.
doing these roots reggae covers on piano, singing along while playing the bass line. So watching these kids come up on Instagram doing the things that I wasn't even doing at that age, it's really powerful to see
Yeah.
where they'll go in their career and what steps they'll take. Because I know growing up when I was doing music at that age, like I told you, music was not what I wanted to do. Like, all my friends were outside running up and down, and that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be inside practicing piano. So it's one of those things where it's put in you and you don't know what you have until you're tested years down the road to say,
Yeah.
is this where you want to be, you know?
I can relate a bit to that music thing. and wanting to do what your friends are doing, but having to practice. Just a little bit, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
There was the track that I started the show with, Come Over, artist by the name of Enzo. He's based in Jamaica.
Hmm.
This guy, the first time I heard him sing, I looked at all the women in the room, young and old, and I could see each and every one of them just stripping and handing every piece of garment to him. Normally you hear about women throwing their underwear. No, every piece of garment.
That's a good deal.
This guy, and I was thinking about it today, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'd start off the show tonight with one of Jamie's tracks. He has a ton of them. I was like, no. What I'll do is start with Enzo. Because at one point or another, I hope that Jamie and Enzo meet and do something.
It's always a possibility, man. Always.
Because your style of piano is not everybody's style of piano.
No, and it takes some time to find your own style, and even um when you're going through music and you're going through the rudimentary music theory and you're listening to other artists. I used to listen to a lot of Monty Alexander, Joe Sample, Keith Jarrett, Errol Garner. I was growing up listening to great pianists and then in a way trying to copy exactly what they're playing. You understand that each pianist has their own style, and to become a better musician, you try to transcribe their solos and you try to play their style. And if somebody says, oh, play Garner style or play the Oscar Peterson way, and you realize that you don't have your own style, and what makes your own unique style is when you mix and match all those things and you kind of find your own unique style through
Yeah.
this cool serendipity, which takes a long time.
Yeah, you present yourself through your art. And you're right. It's just like, you hear some singers and immediately you go, oh, that's whomever. Even if it doesn't
Yeah.
really sound like them, but the way they present it, you go, oh, no, that's, yeah.
And funny enough, it continues to change because I'll listen to myself years ago and I'll hear things and I'm like, oh man, I forgot about that. I don't do that anymore.
That's
And then
because you're
same
growing.
thing years down the road again, you hear something else and you're like, oh, I used to do that thing back in the day. I don't do that anymore. I used to play this kind of style. I used to play fast and now I play less notes. And you'll find with guys like, I'm talking about the greats like Ernest Ranglin and those guys, when you hear them play a solo, they'll play one or two notes and make it sound like an orchestra. And you're wondering how you are dying. Like every note they play is like it reaches your soul, and it's not about playing the fastest or playing a bunch of all up and down the piano. They'll play two notes for their entire solo, and it might be the greatest thing you've ever heard. And that's the maturity of music. Like
Yeah.
the further you grow is like the less you play and everything is more meaningful. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I was going to say it's kind of funny that I can relate to that and I know what you mean when you say it. But it's not that funny when you look at the history of it. You and I were talking off the air about some of that.
Yes.
You you mentioned being touring the world. But before you go to touring the world, because I'm going to ask you about some of the places that you've gone and how you end up going there. But back when you first came on the show, I I think it was a little bit after that. You did a thing. You went. There was a piano somewhere public, and people could just go and play the piano if they wanted to.
Oh yes, that was in a train station in France, in Paris.
Ah, I was trying to remember where it was, and you just jumped on and just gave a little free concert.
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting because it's not something I would do now during these COVID-19 times.
You'd have to spray it on them keys.
There was no hand sanitizer around, but I carry around them in my book bag anyways. But yes, yes. Yeah, I love that. And they have that in a lot of different places in Europe where it's just a piano sitting in a room. And
Yeah.
I don't even like to be the one to jump on and play the piano. It's if other people see me around, they'll boost me up and be like, oh, you should play something. But I always want to listen to other musicians. Even when I go to places to see concerts, like I'm really going to enjoy other people's music. Like I love listening to other people's ideas.
Yeah.
So I might be in a room, but I have no interest in playing or showboating at all. Like I really come there to hear what somebody else has put together because I really appreciate the effort that other musicians put into their work, you know?
Right. So you end up being that guy sitting in the far corner of the room, but
Yes, 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 yes. Listening keenly.
yeah,
I love that stuff.
yeah. Try hiding. Good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
And hearing you talk about that makes me have a greater appreciate love, Shan, for this picture that you have here, this meditation space.
Hmm.
This picture here, when you talk about enjoying other people's music, this is what comes to mind. And was it a photo shoot you went on?
That was just a random candid photo. I was waiting to do a show in LA, and it was this venue that had a little garden,
Mm.
and I was actually in the meditation space, just kind of hanging, and I just snapped a shot of me in this garden with this meditation space. But
That's
I barely have any photo shoot photos. All the pictures I have are candid shots. Like photo shoots are not my thing. I'm not gonna go somewhere and
yeah,
dress up and pose up. Like I hate that stuff. But if somebody catches like a moment of me on stage and I happen to get the shot, or like I
yeah.
love those candid shots. Those are genuine. But the pose up thing, I'm never into those.
This is a picture of love. This is a picture of true love. I see this picture. I see love. The
Yeah.
one with you hugging your keyboard.
Oh yes. I do have a love for my keyboard. That is
That
genuine.
is love right there.
Yeah.
Jeez, boy.
Yes. Yes.
It gives a little bit of an idea of who Jamie is, and I'm glad he took the time out to come and chat with us and do the
Oh.
Jaime Hinckson show, because it shows another side of who Jamie is. A side
Yeah.
where people don't really get to see that often.
Yeah. People feel like musicians you find on. I mean, I don't even have that many followers on my social media, but people feel like sometimes I get messages from random people all over the world, and they'll say, "Hey, I really like your music," or "Hey, I'm trying to learn to play piano. Do you have any pointers or something?" Or just reach out and say, "Hey, I like this song," and they don't expect to get a response the same way I don't expect to get a response if I were
Mm.
to say the same thing to Jay-Z or Beyonce online.
Right,
So
right.
when I actually respond to them, the responses I get from my having responded are even bigger. And they're
Yeah.
just like, "Oh my gosh, is this really you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just sitting on my couch. Thank you for your kind words, or or they'll ask an extended question about piano, and I'll respond with an extended answer and say, look, you should try these scales, and also keep me posted on the results that you're getting. If it's not working, let me help you try something else. Like, I really like to help other people, because I feel
Mm.
like it's what's missing, that connection. People feel like all of these social media people, they're untouchable, and there's
Right.
two different lives. Like, my social media is a picture of exactly what I'm doing usually. Like, if I'm not doing much, that means I'm hard working and nobody's around taking pictures.
Right.
if
Right.
if there's some tribute going on, like, I'll take the time to do a video. But I mean, I try to make it one and the same. It's not a fake life. It's exactly what's going on. So if you're to message me in real time, I'm gonna respond in real time and let you know, like, thank you. I do appreciate hearing those words from people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which before you get done, you're gonna have to share the social media so that people can reach out to you, and
No, for sure, for
y-
sure.
you know because it's a part of you, like you just said. It's a part of you. It's what you like doing. And
Yeah.
so the traveling thing and people telling you that they're hearing your music and they know this music and that music. Where have you been and why did you go there?
So the great thing about music is it allows you to travel the world at no real expense to you. And the thing is, when you're traveling the world, you get a skewed view of the world also. I could go to the trashiest place with a bag of racists and bigots, and there's riots going on in the news and whatever, and I show up there to do a concert. The
Mm-hmm.
people that you're going to see, the people that are coming to your show, are people that genuinely want to see you. They have smiles on their face. They're not paying for a ticket to come in there and riot and be racist and do all kind of stuff. So everywhere I go with any musician,
Mm-hmm.
you get a skewed view, and every place you go to is nothing but good vibes, because
Mm.
music brings people together, no matter what language, whatever. Like I said, it's a universal language. So everywhere I go is a beautiful place. And I meet
Mm.
nothing but beautiful people. Once you step out the venue now, on the way to the hotel, or, whatever, it might be a different story. But when you're in that building, it's nothing but love you're receiving. And there's no greater feeling going to a place that you've never been to before, and somebody knows who you are and knows your music.
What is the furthest or the place that you never thought someone would have heard your music before, or the place is, and someone has come to you and said, "Hey, Jimmy, I love that track of this album," and Ray Ray Ray.
Well, on two different instances. The first time I went to Brazil, I went with a virgin of mine in Gainesville, Florida. His name is Victor. He has a band named Macarege Samba.
Mm.
And we went down and did some touring in Brazil. I'd never been to Brazil before, but I took a couple classes in Portuguese because I love the culture. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
moving to Brazil instead of LA, like, it was a whole crazy thing that I was gonna do. But I
Okay.
finally get to Brazil now. I've never been to Brazil, and I get there to do, of course, when I'm traveling as a keyboardist, I'm a keyboardist for somebody else's band. This time I'm going down and I'm actually doing Jaime Hinckson music. And on top of doing the reggae samba music, I'm actually playing some of my own songs as well.
Right.
So when I get down there, of course, I don't know anybody. I don't even know the language too well. I'm taking my lead from Victor, who's down there showing us around the place.
Okay.
When I get to the first venue to actually play a song, somebody comes up to me backstage and he goes, Jamie? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, is it my time now? She's like, no, 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 I don't work for the venue. Like, I just know your music. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, and I'm there, calling their bluff, like, oh, okay, yeah, you know my music. Like, what do you want from me? And they went for some deep cut and was like, yeah, I watched this this Holly Cook video that you play of this, and call up this video I did with Holly Cook, this UK artist, wonderful artist, the first artist I toured with when I moved to LA.
Yeah.
We did a little mini US tour, and we went to KXP in Seattle. Did this little YouTube video. Didn't think anybody watched it, but this one person in Brazil had watched this video, had studied this video, knew everything about my keyboard, knew everything about what I played, and on top of
Wow.
that, they loved the YouTube video. Had a question to musically ask me about what I did in the video that I couldn't even answer because I hadn't seen the video. So that was the Brazil case, and that continues to happen when I travel with Julian Marley now everywhere I go. We've been to some very cool places, and I'm still going to new places all over Europe. We went to New Zealand the other day. One place I haven't been to anywhere in Africa at all yet.
Okay.
Only heard great stories, but there's a little island off the coast of Africa named, I don't even know if I'm saying it properly. I think it's Mauritius, Mauritius, something like that. It's a French colony. I think it's like an island. I forgot where it is now. I think it's near Madagascar, somewhere off the coast of Africa. Somebody on Facebook reached out to me from this little place and said, yo, I'm from so-and-so, and I don't know where this city is, if it's a country, if it's a city, I don't know anything. Same thing. They had a long story to tell me about how they found my music. And like I was telling you last night, when I release music online, I go to my distributor online. You know, you pay your money, and it's like, all right, your music's in Japan, it's in Australia, it's in Antarctica, it's everywhere. But you don't really buying and streaming and accessing your music until people reach out and say, hey, I've listened to your music before. And it's the most beautiful thing to hear that these people in places I've never heard of that are speaking in French, that are speaking in Portuguese, that are speaking in Arabic, know my music and use it on a regular basis for putting their child to sleep, to study for this exam, to do, I mean, they're do with instrumental music when there's no lyrics involved. And I mean, I hear just the most beautiful stories from people all over the world, and that will never get old.
Yeah, that right there. That's a story plus tax.
Yeah. And they continue to happen. I mean, I love it.
Listen, I am loving it, and I'm just on the listening end.
Yeah.
I want to say big ups to Liquor Gear giving a shout out in the stew pot. Yes, sir. Yeah. Much respect, sir.
Much respect, Gary. Much respect.
Yeah, you know,
we recently at a concert that they were doing for Inner Circle's 50th anniversary in Miami.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I remember you from Sir Rockwell's show and Ray, and I'm like, what? Like it's the same thing. You don't know. People might know me, but I don't know them until they tell me the story of how. And I'm like, okay, I can see how that could happen. And then you become lifelong friends. Like I know Gary Harris is gonna be around for a long time. You know.
Well, you know, with all the hats that he wears, I don't know. He might run out. He might burn out.
Man, but I didn't even know any of the hats he wore. He was just a face in the crowd one day, and now it's like, man, I can call him anytime if I need anything. And I did an event for Calabar the other day that he lined me up with, and great guy, man.
Yeah, he's really cool people, and I don't know. One day I'll try to get him on the show. One day, I don't know. I just can't seem to get enough time out of him for him to say, yeah, Stu, yeah, Kevin, I come sit down with you. Yeah, all right, cool, not a problem. I'll call you.
Yes. And big ups Godfrey. I see Godfrey tune in. Just produce a track for him as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So Godfrey sings, he plays. What does Godfrey do?
He sings and he used to do I believe he used to do radio with a while back and whatnot, but he had a little song he wanted me to help him with, so I did some work, last month with Dave Richards and his sons, and they have a nice little setup in Miami Gardens, and
Oh
we put
yeah,
together a nice little track, man.
yeah, Dave and yeah, that homegrown.
Homegrown.
That's
Oh,
that's that's the name of the
I
band, isn't
would
it? Dave,
I
Dave and
wouldn't
his
even
band.
remember. I wouldn't even remember the name. I just know I just met Dave the other day for the first time. I don't know how I'm just meeting Dave, but
Homebred. It's not homegrown. It's homebred.
yes,
Um,
I believe so.
yeah,
And his sons play fantastic,
they're amazing.
fantastic, man.
And homegrown is G Cole,
Okay,
who used to be. He used to be one of the members. Well, I'd not, let me not say who used to be. One of the members of Rap Sankush. Rap Sankush not recording right now, but Rap Sankush lives on.
okay,
So G Cole, and now G Cole is also a broadcaster. He does homegrown with G Cole on social media, on a couple of radio stations. Would have carrying his. He does a show on a couple of radio stations.
nice, nice.
Yeah. So he has been on this show as an artist way back when.
Okay,
I just found a Facebook reminder of a show that I had him on last week. I think it was like
nice.
4 years ago too.
Yep.
It could have been more. Could have been 6. Some of these
Yeah.
reminders, I've been doing this for a little while.
Yeah.
Um. So, ooh, all right. Yeah, that's what the stew pot is there for. So why not? Uh, if I ignored anybody, let me apologize right now. 703 Potter 703. Much respect. Thank you very much. And oh, so that's Gary. Godfrey. Yes. Okay. Cool. Big ups, Godfrey. Somebody is asking. 692 is asking, who is your favorite, your biggest fan?
I think they're saying they're my biggest fan. I think that might be my father because the next message, yeah, that's him. Gosh, that's Glenn Hinckson, folks.
Okay.
Yes.
Big ups, Daddy Hinckson. Big ups,
Yes.
sir. In fact, I want to thank you for the pain that you put your son through.
Yeah, anytime, I'm struggling, or even when I moved to LA, boy, let me tell you the strife I got. I left college.
This should
I
be
left
good.
University of Florida. All my friends had left and graduated, and I'm on this Van Wilder. Yeah, I loved the college experience and what you learn on a social level from college. There's a lot to learn outside of the academics. The academics is like, okay, here's this book, you study this, I'm gonna test you, you either pass or you fail. But what
Right.
you learn outside of that, the relationships you make, I loved college, and just it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
When I decided that I was going to forfeit my entire degree that I had worked at, and I'm still paying these crazy student loans for it, to book a one-way ticket to LA to start back music, I got support from nobody. Nobody. My parents weren't about it. My siblings weren't about it. My friends weren't about it. Everybody's like, yo, you are a madman. You're going to pass up this nice paying job with Ford Motor Company and being an engineer, and you'll have financial security and all this stuff. And I booked my one-way ticket, and I was like, look, guys, I'm not going to be happy in Detroit, in this depressing town, doing Ford Motor Company stuff. I want to do music. And everybody's like, yeah, but if I was you, I would have done it. And if I was you, and if I was you, it's like, yeah, but you're not me.
Nah.
So when I finally went to LA now, I had to humble myself. Didn't really have the help. Couldn't complain. Had to start from scratch and, slowly build up, get my name out there with music. I'm on the corner handing out CDs and stuff. 5 years later, I'm touring the world. I'm with a great set of musicians with Julian Marley. I've been exposed to some fantastic musicians and been doing some great productions. Now everybody's like, man, I knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you. It takes a lot to follow your dreams, and yeah. I'm like, you guys are the ones that put me into piano lessons. Like, if you didn't want it to go anywhere, you shouldn't have started me up in this thing, you know? So,
Wow, I love it. In fact, Daddy Hinckson, 773-789 Stew, 773-789-7839. Give us a call right now. Right now.
oh boy.
Don't hitch, don't hesitate, don't second guess it. 773-789-7839.
Boy,
Call me now.
if daddy calling is definitely gonna be the Glenn Hinckson show. I'll tell you that.
Listen, that that I can only say that I've spoken to one parent of an amazing talent. Or I should say, it was actually both parents. And that was a really enlightening show.
Yeah.
And I love discussions like those. But Daddy Hinckson, Mr. Glenn Hinckson, please, 773-789-7839. Because if you don't do it now, I'm going to have to do a show with just you. So pick your poison. And I don't mind either way. But
Yeah.
I had the parents of J Vibe on the show
Okay.
one time, and that was something else.
Nice, nice.
We most of us know who J Vibe is, you know, as a talent, as a producer. But the stories of J Vibe the person, you know, it when you get to chit chat with him, and you get to chit chat with the parents, you know. Let me put it in the chat in the stew pot for you, sir. 773-789-7839. There you go. I put it in the stew pot for you.
Yeah.
Either that or Jamie can text you my number.
Yeah. I could probably three-way him into the call.
In fact, do that. Bring him in. Call
All
up
right.
Daddy. Three-way him into the car.
Just
As you're doing that, let me go ahead and play a little Jamie in the background.
all right.
And I played this one for some of the listeners last week. Oh, he's calling.
Oh, okay.
He's calling though. Okay.
Sure.
All right. All right. So I won't even bother to play this track. Hello? Hello? You there?
Hello?
Hello? Did he hang up? I think I lost him.
Let me try to give him a shot.
Okay. All right. So we'll try that one again.
All right, he's in there now.
Hey, Stu, what's up?
Mr. Daddy Hinckson. Sir Glenn, welcome to the Jaime Hinckson show. Now the Glenn and Jaime Hinckson show. Welcome. Now, talk to me, Sir Glenn. Tell us your side of this story. You send. If you could mute your device in the background too, please.
Yeah, I'm watching you guys on the screen here.
Yeah. Oh, I was just asking if you could mute it because I can hear it coming over. You send Jamie off to college, and he
Yeah.
decides to go on this adventure. Tell us your side of this story, cause we heard Jamie's side. Let's hear your side.
Well, my side is just a parent side.
Yeah.
And of course, I sided with his music teacher on this. His music teachers, I should say. That he knew music. There wasn't much more to be taught. It was an academic thing, where you do your grade 1, grade 2, and all this, like we do in the islands.
Right.
So we figured since you already know music, get something else to fall back on. Plus, round yourself out. And, well, he didn't figure he was going to do all of that. He was going to stick with what he wanted. Of course, hindsight is 2020. So you could say, geez, you could be doing this, you could be doing that.
Right.
But if you're not doing what you like, you're not going to be good at what you're doing. So, in as much as you don't have the master's, PhD in engineering and pulling down the box,
Right.
if you're not happy, as we all know, money can't buy happiness.
Right. So
Sure,
you
it pays the bills, but there's more to it than that.
Right.
And when you think about it, having lived in New York 17 years, Detroit, which is cold as hell, I know you'll be miserable.
But Detroit does have a good, a deep music history.
Well, that was touch of Motown. That was it.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't looking at Detroit as a music base for him. I was just thinking he's there working.
Right.
He's gonna be like in a job.
Right.
And that type of weather is not conducive to being happy.
Listen, I lived in Chicago for a year, right on Lake Michigan.
Yeah,
and I can tell you,
1
year was enough.
There, don't wanna.
1 year was enough. So now, when he was growing up and you were sending him to music classes, how much complaining did you get?
From who?
From him about wanting to do other things, but he has to go to music class. Did you get any complaining from him?
He didn't complain enough. In between, we squeezed some basketball and soccer. And the days he wasn't doing that was music.
Okay.
You want to know the day I complained?
Jimmy.
You want to know the day I complained?
Okay, talk. Let's
if Miss
hear
Mac
it.
was alive, she'd be around to tell the story also. There was a day they decided I was doing too many things. And I needed to drop one of them. I was doing music, I was doing basketball, I was doing football, and I was doing karate, right? I was passionate about all of those things, and I was the least passionate about music. Nobody wants to sit around playing Beethoven and Chopin and all this stuff. I had no interest.
Hold it.
Wait, no. I had no interest in playing any of this stuff, and they gave me the choice to decide what I wanted to drop.
Yeah.
So I said, of course, I want to drop music. And they said, no, you can't drop music. Like, that was never an option. So they basically forced me to drop karate classes. And the way I did...
Stu.
Yes.
Stu. He was doing karate like from age 3 to 5.
Right.
There was no black belt coming in. At 5, he was a
Wait. Daddy. Hold on.
Sorry.
Let me tell you.
Karate was 5 to 7.
Hold on. Let me tell you.
We figure after 2 years, you have a brown belt. It's time to move on.
A brown belt, Daddy. Why would you stop me at brown belt? My black belt was hanging up on the wall with my name.
There was no black belt coming.
You didn't see it.
This is what I saw.
Stu, I can tell you right now.
He was the one that promoted the music in us too.
Wait, no. Listen to what they did to the kids. I went through white belt, yellow belt, green belt, purple belt. You do a ceremony every time. They give you some pizza, them kick you in your ribs, and you go through. You learn your nunchucks. You're sparring every day. I'm one of the best in my class because I started from the beginning. This karate place open. I'm
Mm.
all the way at brown belt, and then at brown belt, them say, "Oh, third degree, second degree, first degree." The next belt I'm getting is black belt, and what they do to the kids, they hang your black belt up on the wall, and they stitch your name onto your black belt in
Mm-hmm.
red cursive. So I could see Jaime Hinckson in red cursive on my black belt on the wall to let you know that is the next
You're
belt that you're
going
getting,
there.
and you'll be there in just a
Yeah,
few
but
months or whatever.
guess what, Stu?
Yeah.
That was part of the instructor and the school's thing to
Right.
put it up there as an incentive for the kids. And
Mm-hmm.
the parents figure, oh, black belt, and they keep bringing them, and the belt never came, and these guys were collecting money.
Right.
You see where I'm coming from?
As an
Yeah.
adult, I
So
understand what the
while that
karate
while
people were
that was
doing.
happening, while that was happening,
Dangling the
and I
carrot.
saw it, he was getting beat up, and then his own
Daddy, I
kids
was not
came
getting
out
beat up. I was not getting
everywhere.
beat up.
Sorry.
Who
So
was beating me up in karate class?
everywhere we go, and there was a piano, you'd lean up on it and watch the people playing, and
Mm.
then after they leave, he'd sit down and play what they were playing.
Mm.
And his mother said, "No man, this is strange." And my sister bought him a little play piano, one that he kneel down and play, and he was tuned it up. And then we got
Mm.
a piano in the house, and he had a habit of coming home, whatever he learned, he would play it from the book, close the book, and play it without the book. He said,
Uh-huh.
when he come home before he go to bed that day. So that was the ingrained habit he created.
Right.
So to me, it was a phenomenon. Hey, if you're going to be like that, I'm going to push that. That's simple.
Anyways, I'm
That's a
gonna
wise
move on.
parent. That's
I'm
a
gonna move
wise
on from this
parent.
story, and I'm gonna tell you how this story actually turned me into a piano player. Though I
Because you were
was
getting
so
beat up in
upset.
karate.
I was not getting beat up in karate, and Daddy knows this. Daddy knows this. Anyways, so I went to my next piano lesson after they forced me to quit karate lessons. I went to Joan McMorris, and
Mm-hmm.
I was so fed up. I don't even know what age I was, but
7.
I went into this lady's, like, this is a old Jamaican lady.
Right.
This Mac is the greatest thing ever. Love this lady dearly. I could never do any wrong. I was her handbag underneath her arm all the time.
Mm.
I went into this piano lesson and sat down, and she could tell that something was brewing. And she's like, "Jamie, what's wrong?" In her soft, sweet, innocent voice. And I said, "Look, I'm tired of your boring classical music. I don't want the music anymore. This stuff is boring. I'm a
Mm.
pro. I know how to play this music
And
stuff.
Stu,
And
my
this
boy
is,
could play like man enough, you know.
Mm.
Any classic you try to him, carry up.
yeah, but I didn't like those. I didn't like playing those songs. I
Okay.
was capable of playing them, but I had no interest and I had no care for any of these things. So I told her, "Look, I don't want to play your boring classical music anymore. I'm done." She doesn't even know what just happened with karate class. I couldn't even get that part out.
Mm.
So she says, "Oh, so you think you're bad?" And I said, "Yeah, I got this music thing figured out." And she calmly walks over to her stereo system set, and
Mm-hmm.
she pops in this CD called Echo of Jillies by Monty Alexander. And it's Monty Alexander's version of a bunch of Frank Sinatra songs.
Mm.
And plays this record for me. And I'm like blown away, more so at the fact that she said that this was a Jamaican pianist. Now,
Right.
my other piano teacher, her best friend Leslie Butler, I knew he could play piano, but because I saw him all the while, I didn't really know Leslie Butler from a CD. I know this random person named Monty Alexander is some great Jamaican pianist, and he's there playing these piano songs. And I'm like, well, what kind of music is that? Like, I want to start playing that stuff then. And that's how we broke off into jazz. From that moment on,
Mm.
we still did, the deal was we would still do classical music,
Right.
but she would teach me some kind of jazz, and I started taking lessons with Leslie Butler, who actually J Vibe actually learned from Mr. Butler as well, and my
Ah,
nieces, and he still teaches to this day. He's in Miami.
nice.
But that argument and that force out of karate made the transition into jazz music, which is how I ended up willingly staying in music.
Okay. But you know, it's the parents' foresight that got you to it.
I don't know, foresight or force.
No, he was made for music. We didn't know it. So he kind of walked into it too.
Right.
He walked into it and there was no turning back. You
But
know, one of those things.
you know,
Which is why when I moved to LA, I shouldn't have heard any strife about why I was leaving back my degree to go
Well,
pursue music.
well, you know, they had to make sure that you knew within yourself that you were making the right choice. So what that
Well,
was,
that's the thing. You can't show you have to show them that, and it takes years to reach a place where they're finally like, "Oh, okay, you've made something of yourself doing music. All right, proud of you. All right, you did it. All right, cool. We're off of your case now."
well, yeah, because you know, in order to show off the muscles as a bodybuilder, you have to be pumping that iron and burning and breaking those muscles, those old muscles, to develop new muscles. So that was them. They were the weights that you had to push, to pump, and the exercise that you had to do in addition to what you were doing as practice.
Yep, all necessary.
All necessary.
Yep.
Sir Glenn, this is where you chime in and say, Stu, you got it.
hey, metaphor, you know.
Yeah. See, I'm right. So
Yeah.
this is where you thank your parents for giving you a hard time. You knew it was all in love. you know, you knew it was all in love.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Thanks
see,
for the hard time, pops.
if he was doing well in music,
Yes.
you wouldn't like uh, bother with it.
He
But
wouldn't
it's
have been on
like
tour.
he was way above what you'd normally expect,
Right, so you have to
you know.
challenge
And
him beyond what you'd normally expect.
me, you're in shock every time you see him do something like he can do that. It was like continuous improvement.
Yeah.
Middle school, you had to audition to get into school. And I mean, I went to the audition and I heard some kids drop some music.
Right.
And Mr. Don't Want to Do in the classic, drop one and got picked. And then high school, the same thing. And, you know, he had competitions from high school at UM and everywhere we went. First place, first place, first place, you know. So there was no holding back.
Right.
Like I said, he just wanted a standby occupation, but he figured no, there was never standing by.
It was all in with the music thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Jamie,
What can I say?
Hmm.
with because you didn't mention that part. You see, that's why it's always good to have the parents come in sometimes. You know, tell the stories that you so conveniently leave out. The winning of these competitions, did didn't that encourage you to just win some more, or was it
No,
lonely at the top?
it that's exactly what I was gonna say. I felt I was on the top because I didn't have a care for classical music. I wouldn't really practice classical music, and because I don't know what it was like. I could process classical music, and I remember the fingering and how to play certain songs. My memory was really good, when I used to come into piano lessons and play the classical music that we were learning, it was really based off of memory, and I'm kind of just winging it. I'm not really reading the music. I'm not taking the time to practice. It just came naturally. So when I go to a competition now for something I didn't practice for, and I win first place, I'm just like, yo, this is a joke. Like, I must have this music thing figured out. Like, I need something else to do.
Right.
So that's how it was with classical music, and jazz music was this thing that I could never be in number one spot for jazz, because I had other people to always look up to and be like, boy, that person's great. And that's the journey that I'm on forever and never, never. I will never be at the top of that ladder, and it's a very humbling experience to be on that other side. When I was growing up as a kid doing classical music with other kids my age, first place was an easy thing to get.
Right.
Until I started meeting kids in the jazz realm, where I was just like, yo, how them did that? And it was a completely different thing. And, you know, classical music was mostly a bunch of Asian and Indian kids anyways.
Right.
So I was just, you know, just random Jamaican kid coming in playing music, and, you know, like, these parents would be really strict on their kids, a lot of these Asian parents, and you'd see them cussing their children, and they're crying, and I'm there holding this certificate or plaque that I don't really care for. And it's just like, oh, good job again, Jamie. You know, there was no pressure.
Right.
So it was just finding a new challenge was what I was eager for, and that's what jazz was for me.
I can tell you, jazz, when I got introduced to the blues scale, and as a brass musician, it's a whole new world. And I was privileged enough to be introduced to it by one of the Broughton brothers. Yeah, Bill and Bruce Broughton. And you can even Google, they're Googleable. You know, writing jingles for mainstream big advertisers, writing music scores for movies and such. You know, these kind of guys. So this one time at band camp, I have one of those stories. Was taught jazz, brass jazz, in the Salvation Army. Bless the Salvation Army. And I got introduced to the blues scale, and I heard this guy play a trombone, play two notes. It was the first time I heard anybody play two notes on a brass instrument at the same time. And I was like, what? You can do that? How do you do that? Only to try it and do it the first time. And I'm like, but this is not that hard. And then I hear other people trying it, and they're like, how do you do that? I can't. I was like, okay, so maybe it's easier for some people than others. It's kind of like folding your tongue or rolling your tongue. Some people can't do it, you know? And so jazz took me to another place. So I can relate to that.
Yep. And the thing with jazz is there's no rules. In classical music,
Yes.
is like you're kind of in a box where it's like, you know, if you follow these notes and you play this a certain way, and you play it in this Italian word that they tell you to play it in, you play it in the right timing, you play it with some feeling, you're good to go. We can say, yeah, you'll pass your test. With jazz music, is like, yeah, you could do that, or you could also win doing this, or you could win doing this. And there's a million ways to skin a cat with jazz, and you realize that there's no one jazz musician better than the next. It's such a crazy style that it's just ever evolving, and it's a genre where you can appreciate many musicians. You can never say there's a best.
Right.
There might be a master of jazz, but everybody has their own style, and it's not just one path that you can follow to get to the end of the road. It's just it's its own free journey, which is what I love about it so much.
So now you've taken this whole jazz thing to a whole nother level, because now you do it with jazz and you do it with reggae and pop.
Yep, I've been combining. Well, because I'm an instrumentalist and there's no lyrics, you
Right.
have to fill in those spaces. Outside of the melodies, is like, all right, well, what do you do in between all these melodies? And it's very hard to even keep a lot of people's attention playing instrumental music. To
Right.
me, instrumental music is a very like more sophisticated music. Like there's some people that just want to hear some foolish lyrics or hear some
Yeah.
stuff. Like to really sit down and you choose out of all the music in your collection to
Mm-hmm.
listen to some instrumental music, it would have to be like, a mood setting for dinner. Or I've heard people putting their children to sleep. I have this wonderful family in Jamaica, this girl named Morgan,
Yeah.
and they used to play this song for her to put her to sleep, to stop her from crying, and send me videos all the time of it working over and over again. She used to just watch my video and calm down.
Wow.
And I was able to go to Jamaica and meet this family, and now they're just like people I've known for my whole life. The
That
Graham
is.
family, they're fantastic people, but I hear stories about people studying to my music to pass their exams. I hear about people going through some crazy times and they listen to my music and it puts them in this different mood. And it's just instrumental music is so powerful and people don't understand the therapy that can really come from it. And I'm glad that what I'm just doing naturally is helping people in so many different ways that I didn't intend it
Yeah.
to be, you know?
Yeah. Jaime Hinckson and COVID-19 music. Get your copy today.
Hey, the thing
Sir
with
Glenn.
jazz is you're not in a box.
Yeah. Sir,
With jazz, you're not in a box. You just open.
let me ask you this. The first time
Yeah.
you heard one of his recordings, one of Jamie's recordings,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't your
September
traditional
2013.
music. First thought.
Oh, you mean recording? Lyrics. Or just hearing him play something different?
Okay, well, both. Give me both of them because
Well,
hearing him sit down
I
and play it
used to
live
sit.
and
I
hearing a
used to sit
recording.
in. I
Yeah.
used to sit in on some of the practices and in awe. So when I got a full production polished, I'm like, wow. You start looking on the road like this guy can be Jimmy Smith, which was my
Mm.
favorite on the boards. Jimmy
Ah.
Smith was my man, and Shirley Scott. So I'm thinking Jimmy Smith, Shirley Scott, Jackie Me Too, that type of music. That was me.
Right.
So I'm seeing this through him. So when he started to play jazz with the mixture of pop and the reggae and the mento, and I don't remember if he told you about Jazz and Blues 2006. We
No,
were
he
still
didn't
in high
mention that.
school.
He didn't mention that. Yeah,
Yeah, he
I tell
did.
you, he
He,
leaves out some of these things,
he
conveniently.
did jazz. He did Jazz and Blues 2006, and was part of the opening on the last night when they had Patti LaBelle,
What?
and she held him up, but he wasn't there to go see her. He's run off with his friends, and I'm trying to get him, but this
Wow.
guy, Jazz and Blues, he had 30, 40,000 people stomping.
Mm.
Okay, and I'm
Jamie,
I'm li-
Jamie.
I'm looking back, and I was swollen with pride because I can't believe this little kid that stopped playing karate and went to the keyboard and was doing this at Cinnamon Hill in Montego Bay. So,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back. I'm gonna go back into karate classes.
hey, it's up to you, man. Just don't damage your fingers this time, you know.
It can damage
You,
anywhere else. Just let the
you save
fingers
those
stay.
fingers from karate for the keyboard. See?
Yeah, those golden fingers. Jeez, boy. You're holding out on us, Jamie. What? You know what? Sir Glenn, what else is he not telling us? Because humility is going to ride him to the rest of this thing. What
one
else is
one
he?
of his best pieces. If you ever hear him play Misty,
Yeah.
he talk about ladies taking their clothes off. He played Misty. Wicked.
Man, Misty was one of the first jazz standards I ever learned, and man, I just love the melody. I love the pianist that created it
That
for
was the one I
piano.
remember most, Mystic. And in Axel, there was a young girl that sang the song
Mm.
while he played. Oh my Lord. Wicked.
You
Yeah,
see? You see?
yeah. It's a big running joke between like my friends and some family. Everybody's always like, "Oh, when they see me around a piano, they're like, Jamie, play me a Misty."
Mm.
It's either that or like this little calypso medley I used to play with like long time gal and brown skin gal, yellow bird and sly mongoose.
mm. There's a
Now your niece playing Mystic.
Yeah,
look. You see? Look at that. You have inspired others.
yeah.
There is. I don't know if you know her. Najee, violin player.
Najee.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I probably know her music and know her if I see her, but maybe not by name.
You mentioned the medley. She has one of those medleys
Oh,
also.
somebody sent me somewhere the other day.
Some
See, that know more than me.
say, listen. That's that is why I needed you to call, circling. You know, you get to tell the stories that Jamie leaving out conveniently to paint a more complete picture, but we know it's not complete just yet, but it's a more complete picture. And we get a better idea of who Jamie is, because in the midst of all of this talent, we can hear a lot of humility. And so some of the things that he could tell us, he probably doesn't want to, because it would look like blowing his own trumpet. So that's where you come in, Sir Glenn. He doesn't have to worry about it. You can talk the thing real. And thank you for doing that.
Hey,
Because
you're welcome, man.
here it is. We have someone touring with Jojo Marley, Julian Marley, all over the world. When he started touring with Julian, what was your first thought, Sir Glenn?
Boy, I don't know. Heart stopped beating for a while. I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe that, he was that. I know in LA he met some of the Marleys,
Right.
and with his music teacher, I think he met Bob's mom, Sedella,
Mm.
or they lived fairly close, and his mother, his music teacher knew Sedella good.
Okay.
But the irony of it all is I met Bob once in 79 in Miami.
Okay.
Saw him previously at Madison Square in 77.
Mm-hmm.
Only two generations later, his son and my son hook up.
Right.
Strangers in the night,
Yeah.
You just pass each other and you don't know what the future holds.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
want to hear a funny story?
All the time.
I've only been playing with Julian for like a year or two now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. It must be 2 years
It's
now.
about 2
But me
years.
and Juju born on the same day. Everything like me and him cool on and off the stage. Everything is cool. The Julian found me randomly on Instagram,
Mm?
searching through Instagram, looking for keyboard players, and must have typed in reggae jazz. And him and family man Aston Barrett's son, Aston Barrett Jr.,
Yeah.
who was just over here the other day. They're very good friends, close. They're on Instagram looking through musicians, and he happened to find me, and he sends me a message on Instagram and was like, "Hey, this is Julian Marley, and um I like your stuff, and I want to link up. And I'm there thinking, with all this spam in the world
What
and all
kind
the
of scamming
different
is
things going
this?
on, I'm like, yo, who is this person posing as this man named Julian
Yeah.
Marley? And the man goes further to say, like, I'm coming in town, like, I want to meet you and stuff. And I'm like, yo, they're really trying to set me up right now. Like, somebody's going to try and rob me or something. But let me go anyways and see. Like, he gave me a location. It's a public place. I can see from afar what's going on. And
Right. And you
I
know
show up, and
karate.
it's exactly. I know, I know my karate. So I show up to this place in LA, and sure enough, it's Juju and the band and the family and everybody, and they were there doing Kaya Fest, and like, just met him, and he was just feeling me out, saying, "Yo, I'm rate how I play piano, and want me possibly play for his band." And my people talk to your people. I'm just like, oh wow, nothing's gonna come from this. But man, it was great having that experience. What a great story I'm gonna take home with me.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, we're doing a 6-week tour in Europe,
A
and it
couple weeks
was
later.
yeah, it was so quick, because right after the audition, like the audition was, I want to say, like a week before rehearsals, and we did 2 weeks of rehearsals, and then we're in Europe for 6 weeks, and that was my first time playing with Julian. There was no warm up, there was no get ready, get set. It was just go. So when
Yeah.
I got to Europe and I'm playing, a lot of fans are asking, like, yo, so how is it playing for Julian? Like, how long have you been in the band? I was like, I started 2 weeks ago. So, it's been cool.
Wow. That.
But yeah, man, very
Yeah.
strange. Like, he found a video of me playing one of his father's songs, doing like a reggae jazz version of it randomly. And these
Yeah.
are videos I stopped doing years ago, because I'm like, nobody's really watching my YouTube channel. Nobody's really doing this stuff. I'm taking the time to do these songs. Nobody's really listening to it. And that's the thing. You never
People
know
listen. Yeah.
what people are going to like, what they're going to see. And it took one of those videos that I no
Mm-hmm.
longer posted, that I no longer did, for Julian to see, for me to
Yeah.
be in the place where I am with him now. So it's like, when you have music to release, when you have a video to release, just release it. You don't know who's
Yeah.
going to see it, but it only takes that one person on that random day, and you never know where it would lead.
Right. Yo. That is a sweet story right there. It creates images like the one I have up now on the screen with you on the piano. I look at this picture and I see you in the groove. I've seen your earlier videos and seen you in the groove where your shoulder go up to your head back and uh, your ears and your shoulder blade talking and thing, and you're so into it. That's what I see in this picture. But a lot of people looking at the picture would only see you, but in the background, under that light, is somebody who is just taken over by your music, by your playing. I don't know if you even recognize that there's another person in the picture in the background.
Yeah, I see him back there. He's usually in the background of most of my pictures these days. Yep.
Yeah. And was this while on tour? What was this picture?
Yeah, that's just a typical day on tour. Like, man, when we're on stage, you could rehearse for days, for weeks, for months. When you step out on stage, it's just you and the band and the chemistry that you have with your bandmates. And there's
Yeah.
so many times where you're playing a song and the music just sweet, everything's so nice on stage, and you look across at your bandmates and they're smiling or we're laughing. Even if
Mm.
somebody makes a mistake, like, we're all laughing at the mistake because we're all in good spirits. And when it comes time for me to, like, play a solo and I'm in that vibe,
Yeah.
it's a wrap. And
Yeah.
Juju will come over by the keyboard, and all the cameras are on you now, so you're more turn up. Or you look at my bassist Stone across the stage, and he's rocking back and forth, and you're in a vibe. So
Right,
man,
right.
it's just that's what those candid moments I'm telling you about. That's a shot taken by a photographer that we had on the road with us named Joey Clay from Florida, and he
Okay.
was taking a bunch of candid shots of us, and that was one of the tours that we did in somewhere in Europe. But that was one of the many shots just in the moment where it's genuine. That's the vibe that I'm in the middle of the song. Like you cannot take that away from any of us on stage, whether it's one person in the crowd or 50,000.
Mm. Yeah. That right there is, let me put it up again for people watching and those who are catching the rebroadcast or going back into the archives to catch the show. Yeah, that is the moment, and that moment comes out of the meditation space, and that moment comes out of the love for the keyboard.
That look like the spirit of Bob in the background.
Yeah,
It
man,
it
Juju have
it
that,
is.
man.
It is.
Juju, man, and Juju really, 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 really rate him father and the band, When Juju references one of his father's songs, this man will say, "All right, guys, we're gonna play these two songs from my father for this show in Africa, wherever we're going." And I'll
Mm.
say, "All right, but it's not just like there's so many different versions. There's so many different times that his father has played in Africa and in Europe in all these different places." And this man will say, "No, no, no, I want to play it like the London show from '76."
Mm.
And then he'll say, "No, no, no. Actually, look up Japan '75 because that one had the one keyboardist in it, and the bass line kind of changed in the fifth bar." Like when this man talks about his father's music, like he really digs into every rehearsal recording, every show recording. This man has listened to his
Mm.
father through and through. He knows how to play every instrument. Like
Yeah.
he really loves the music. So when he's on stage and he's in his vibes, like it's authentic, it's real. The man loves him father music, and when we recreate his father's music, every element has to be in it, or else we're not doing that song.
Yeah. That is giving, paying true homage right there.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes. Yes. And I can just yes, I can feel it.
Yeah, man.
That's the thing that gives you goose pimples all over, you know.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man. We spend weeks to get it right and get every little piece and try and figure out little parts. And there's parts where Tyrone Downey is the only pianist, and then there's one with Tyrone Downey and Waya Lindo, and
Mm.
I might be the only keyboardist there. I have to figure out a way to do it the way Tyrone did it in '75 when he was. I mean, there's a million different ways. The bass line changed for this one show. The drum did this one fill. They did
Mm.
this different breakdown section with the singers, and then we'll mix and match multiple shows and change up the intros and outros. Man, it's awesome.
Wow.
When we're in the rehearsal spot and we're playing any kind of gun music, it's a spiritual thing. Like everybody feel it. Like wow. When you play Bob Marley music with any other cover band or somewhere, you kind of play jamming. You're like, oh yeah, I know the
Yeah.
chords to jam. Oh, play Is This Love? Play Buffalo Soldier. You're like, oh, okay, I know these songs.
Right.
When
Right.
you're playing with Ginger Marley, you're playing it like man, it's unbeatable. It's a different thing completely. You're like, yo, you feel like you're part of the Wailers at that point.
Mm. Yeah. That is a special feeling right there.
Yeah, man.
But
You
no,
just add.
go ahead, Sir Glenn.
No, I'm just saying. All you gotta do is just add your brand to it, and
Mm.
Well, that's the
that's
best part. Well, that's the best part. Once you learn how the Wailers did it, you do that, and you, like you said, you add your own little unique thing. After you play the same
Yeah.
show, in different cities for 6 weeks, the band is going to do something different every night. There's no way that we're doing the same show every night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the vibe of the band that day.
Right.
It could be the slightest little change that makes the biggest difference. I'm not playing the same solo every night. We're not doing the same show every night. There's times where we have time constraints, and when we're on the stage, we have to cut out this song and add this song. There's one time that Juju called out a random song that we didn't even rehearse, and it was the most flawless, wickedest version of the song we ever did. And it was on a stage of thousands of people.
Mm.
So as musicians, you have to be prepared for anything, and it's that spontaneity that really gives you a brand new show every night. There has to be some kind of aspect of mystery every night. You know what the set is, but you know that at the same time anything could go wrong. Something could get plugged out, rain could start falling, anything could happen. So you have to be prepared at all times.
Right.
Which is why we rehearse so much.
Coming back to Jaime music, you're finishing up, you're polishing up right now a project that you took some time to work on.
Yes, a very different project from what I usually release. Everybody knows me as the reggae jazz guy. They like to put me in this box, and anything with reggae, Jamie can turn into jazz. Anything, whatever.
Right.
This album that I'm creating, I've done singles before of hip hop jazz, but this is the first time I'm releasing an entire hip hop jazz album. It's going to be 13 tracks. It's called Take Time, and it's the instrumental version to an album that I helped co-produce and create with some friends out of Oakland, California, named Sound Miners. This wicked producer and engineer named, he goes by PhD Rack, and the rapper the MC on the album's name is Prof. And we released their album. It's called Between Time. They released 2 versions of that album, and now I'm going to release just the instrumental version of that album with piano solos and piano melodies. I don't know how it's going to be taken by the people that know me for reggae jazz, but it's my way of bridging the gap between what I love listening to growing up, as well as the reggae music that I was exposed to from my parents. Right. I love listening to old school hip hop, so this was my chance to do this old school hip hop classic that doesn't have any MC on it. It's just instrumental piano, and it's the same instrumental therapeutic music. I feel like people are going to love it because I love it, but I don't know what it will do to my reggae jazz followers that are waiting for another reggae jazz album. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer because now I'm releasing this hip hop jazz thing. So I'm curious to see how it does once I release it, probably next month. It's being mixed and mastered right now by one of the greatest engineers in the business, Nico Marzuka, right now. He's taking his time to do his thing on it, so it'll be out shortly.
Nice. But you've done a couple of hip hop tunes before. You've and old school at that. You did one. I remember you doing Between the Sheets, Big Papa.
Oh yeah. I've done a couple of those on YouTube and different little jam sessions. I've done those, and I released my own 2 hip hop jazz singles, also. But this is the first time I'm putting together
a whole album,
such a large project of material at one time to release. It's actually my second full album that I'm releasing. My first album I released all the way in 2013, and that was the album I released in my college town called Take Flight. And since then, it's just been trickling a couple singles here and there as years gone by. And now I'm finally releasing another album in this push to kind of get some more music out there, especially during this time where everybody's grounded. I had time to actually finish it up and clean it up and work with D-Rack in Oakland to get everything together and stuff. So
nice. So your first album was, you said, Take Flight.
Yes.
And now you're doing Take
This one
Time.
is called Take Time. And this, I just came up with this name, just finalized this name less than a week ago because I had to put it to a vote.
Mm.
So the original album that was released earlier this year
Yeah.
from Sound Miners is called Between Time. And I wanted my album to have a mix of that name and my original album, Take Flight. So the two names I came up with
Okay.
was Take Time and Time Flies. So I
Mm.
put it to a vote. I asked Daddy, I asked my sister, I asked my mom, I asked my friends. I put it to a vote on Instagram. And what we ended up coming up with, the majority said Take Time. And I think it speaks to the times because everybody's slowing down right now. Everybody needs to
Right.
take time. And although it's a more of a Jamaican term, like, take time,
Go easy, yeah.
it's the same thing. It's a easy, laid back, chill vibes, instrumental music versus Time Flies is like it's a little
Let's
bit more
go.
depressing, like, like I'm coming to the end of something. Take time is just, take a step back, take a breather, listen to these 13 tracks
Mm.
And so
and
take
enjoy.
it easy. No need to worry.
That's
Right?
right. Easy skanking,
Yeah. Listen, I am going to get into musical therapy for the last few minutes of my show. And you had sent me a pre-mastered track, which I'm going to start off musical therapy with and close out the Jaime Hinckson, no, the Jamie and Glenn Hinckson show. And but before I do that, I want you to share with everybody your media contact, your social media contact, your we haven't even talked about your web page. And
Well,
so
you guys can Google Jaime Hinckson or you can go to jamiehinckson.com.
mhm.
If you can't spell it and you just try to spell it on Google, it'll still come up, I promise. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, you can follow me at JAHINCKSON. So it says Ja Hinkson. Everybody feels like it's a Rasta
Rasta thing.
affiliation, like
Yeah.
reggae music. It's really just my initials, Jamie Andrew Hinkson. So I put JA and my last name Hinkson.
Mhm.
Follow me on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. And I'm actually thinking about going live for an hour of music sometime next week. I did it last week. It did very well. I played for
Mhm.
some people in Portugal and it was a nice experience. People asked for me to do it again. I might even have some special guests this time around.
Nice. That should be fun.
Those initials, by the way,
Yes.
Kevin, were deliberate. JAH.
Yeah. But did you know it at the
Thank you.
time?
Yeah,
Huh?
Daddy did that on purpose.
Well done, Sir Glenn. Well done. Oh gosh.
And that's my initials.
Right. Yeah, I don't have fancy initials like those. I envy people like you guys.
Hey, case two is good. Stew pot.
Yeah, it's something that I have been working with over time, and happen to like it. I was given the nickname Stew Peas back in grade 2, believe it or not, and it to
Speaking
this
of,
day.
I take it you went to the best school, or didn't you?
Oh boy.
If you're referring to the one on the northern side of North Street,
No,
for
no,
as
no,
a
no,
high
no.
school.
No. We're talking about the college. Go no further.
Yes, we're and
Respect,
oh, so
respect to the light blues anyway.
You're talking to the KC of KCs.
ah My father was a KC old boy. Um,
And your mother knock her head and send you Georges. It's all right.
it was one of those things. My father did choir. My father did track. Everybody knew who Bumpy Stewart was. You know. Uh,
Bumpy Stewart is your daddy?
yes, Bumpy is my daddy.
Wow. Small world.
Yeah. His soul rest in peace. And
Mm-hmm.
we even buried him in his colors. He was buried in his colors, his casket, everything had the purples. And um, I wore a shirt that I have only worn twice. That being the first time, a purple shirt. I've only worn that shirt twice, and both times was to funerals. One to my father's funeral, and one recently to my son's granduncle's funeral, a man that I held in great esteem. But that shirt don't wear go anywhere.
I understand. I
Right.
understand.
I know you would. And you see, Jamie, you notice how I went straight to North Street and I was specific about the northern side of North Street when your father asked that question. It's a
Well,
North Street thing, I needed to understand.
man,
When you hear people ask without naming schools, there's a certain way that if you go into school on North
yep,
Street, you ask the question. So it's a North
man,
Street thing.
you're talking to the guy that doesn't miss champs.
Really?
Does not miss champs. That is the most upsetting thing for him during COVID-19. He can't get
Didn't
champs
miss this
Jeez.
year.
purple and white
Mm.
custom Nikes to go
Mm.
cheer for Casey.
Jeez, you got all out of it. And my first when I got married the first time, my best man was a KC old boy.
You
Juicy
do you
Bell's
do make good choices.
Juicy Bell's son, Antonio. Antonio Bergie Bell was my best man. We met at Mutual Life and we played ball together at Mutual Life. He introduced me to badminton, and now he is doing great things with the Jamaica Badminton Association, taking Jamaican badminton players all over the world and such. It yeah, I do make great choices, and it's just a North Street thing because the two schools are so linked. No, seriously, the two schools are so connected, and a lot of people deny it. Mostly us old boys, but we can't really do without each other.
Well, our founder came from your school.
There we
And I
go.
tell you.
Yeah. So the schools are forever linked, but forever fighting. But nobody can come between us. But
Except where we tell the world that we own Alpha, everybody Bex.
sorry, Glenn, you're going into another realm right now.
Yeah.
Because I had friends that I gave George's crest from over KC because they had banned KC boys from going to Alpha Fits. And a bunch of my friends were
Jamie Alpha
KC.
is an all-girls Catholic school.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of people wouldn't know, but then you have some that know the history. Sir Glenn, much respect, much love, sir.
Yes, man. Same
Thank you
here,
very
same here.
much. Jamie, in closing, any last parting words? Actually, not last words, parting words for this segment, because there's a lot more to come. It probably won't be another 4 years. Hopefully not. But there's more to come, and the night shift is still your place, bro.
Well, I just want to say big thanks to you, Kevin. Like you said, you don't do radio interviews. It's very unorthodox to have a dialogue like this for so long. Most of the times when I do interviews, you play some songs. I'm on for 5-10 minutes, a couple stories. It was a very intimate thing. So I appreciate you for having this platform, and to everybody out there listening, wherever you are in the world. If you're listening to it live, if you're going to listen to it down the road,
yeah.
Big ups to you, Kevin Stu. And it definitely won't be another 4 years for me to be back on, because I'm actually right down the road now in Miami. So
Yeah.
anytime you're ready, same time next week.
Wait, there's who live the travel man, there you gone again, man.
True thing.
Much love. I appreciate the fact that you took the time out, Jamie. Sir Glenn, thank you for answering the call and connecting with us and telling us the stories that he would so conveniently leave out.
Okay, Stu. Good night and thanks again.
All right, blessings, man. Jamie, introduce for me before we go out. Play No Games.
So this is going to be track number 12 on my upcoming album, Take Time. It's actually a bonus track. It's called Play No Games.
Much love, bro. Take time.
Respect.
And take care.
Why you wanna go and do that, love, huh? Now why you wanna go and do that, love, that? Now why you wanna go and do that, love, huh? Now why you wanna go and do that, love, that?
I want to say big ups to Uncle Vernon. Much love, sir. This is Play No Games. I didn't realize the mic was muted when I was talking to you guys just now. This is Play No Games, bonus track from the soon to be completed and released album Take Time by Jaime Hinckson. I like it, don't you? Giving you one more. I tell you, y'all need to go look up Jaime. It's Jaime Hinckson, Hinckson. This is not the track I wanted to play, but I'll give you this one anyway. This one is called Habibi. After that, I'm gonna play the one that I wanted to play. See, I have so many. There's a track called Push I'm gonna play next. So you'll get a Jaime triple play. I need your love. There's nothing in this world that is greater than love. So, what do you push? You push love. This is Push. Giving you a little bit more of the hip-hop flavor from Jaime. Remember to check out the website, JaimeHinckson.com. One more Jaime for you. This is how I close out the night. I'll leave you with this one. It's Big Papa, Between the Sheets. I want to thank each and everyone for tuning in. Catch you tomorrow. Healthy Love, 10 till midnight Eastern time, right here on kevinstew.com. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world from right here in South Florida. Good night. Let's go. Between the Sheets. Consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.